Witamy w moim ogródku. It's now autumn. The weather is rapidly changing, but it's still unusually warm considering that it's now October going into November. But the leaves are starting to turn brown and the garden isn't as luscious or vibrant as it was before in the summer. My cats still love playing outside, chilling and relaxing. When it gets really cold, then they're not such big fans of going outside. But this summer we had a really good tomato harvest. We still have some tomatoes on the vine, but there's no way that they're going to ripen. The vines are basically dead now at this point. So today our job is to clean up the garden and prepare for next year. As I showed in my last couple of videos, we bought some land that we hope to move into next year. So it means we have no need for our garden here in Warsaw anymore, at least not for next spring. So this will be the last time that we do an autumn cleanup, preparing the garden for spring next year. And I hope it means that our homes will be ready next summer so we can move in and we won't spend another winter here in this apartment. I attempted to grow some carrots again this year, but they turned out so tiny. It's my second attempt that's ended in failure. I think there just isn't enough light here, so I hope next year on our land I will do much better. The variety of carrot is actually called Chanteuse or something like that. And actually, they're meant to be small and round. So that's not bad. This summer was a tomato fest. We just went absolutely crazy with tomatoes and didn't grow much else. We planted 5 different varieties, 4 of which were very successful. Again, we're on the ground floor, so we don't get as much sunlight as we'd like, but our soil is very nutritious, so the tomatoes grew very well and very tasty. We even have our own composting bin, and all of our leftover kitchen waste, cardboard boxes from deliveries and garden waste goes in there. This bed was not here when we moved to this apartment, and my husband constructed it from random junk to make it as cheap as possible. We filled it with branches and cardboard to increase the bulk, and a mixture of soil from the shops and decomposed kitchen waste. This garden, while not optimal, has still given us the opportunity to experiment and learn so much over the last few years. Not everyone will be able to buy their own land or move out of the city centre, but if you have an opportunity to have a ground floor terrace or a balcony, it's worth buying some pots, soil and a few seeds to try growing something of your own. Our previous apartment had no balcony at all, but it didn't stop us from experimenting and finding ways to grow our own food and plants. Usually all of the mature compost would go from there into our garden bed, and excuse the mess, but we've been working in it today. But this year, or next year I should say, all of this precious compost will go with us to the land to start our new vegetable garden. The soil quality on our land is particularly bad. It's like 5 or 6. So this brown gold is very important to us, and we have to take it with us. The cats really playing on the bed ended up pushing one of the sides down, and we were able to see inside. We've been adding compost to this bed for about 2 years now, and my husband introduced worms in there about 2 years ago as well. And you can just about see the tracks left by the worms. The soil is incredibly rich. The whole thing is pretty much just worm droppings, also known as vermicast. Ooh, a sunny day. It's been about a week. The garden has had some time to rest. The work that my husband did has been really good and made quite a bit of difference already. I just wanted to show you some of the plants that we'll be taking with us to the land next year. Not all of them will be coming with us, but most of them will be. We've got quite a variety of plants taken from lots of different places, some from Biedronka, some from the forest, some from Castorama, garden shops like that. We originally thought that we wanted to take them with us to the land this autumn, but we realized that actually we don't have a full plan of where we'd like to put everything yet. So it's better for us to spend the winter thinking about that, and then in the spring transplanting some of the trees. It also means that over the winter we can figure out our rainwater collection system. Right now we have no running water on the land, and I don't think we will until spring next year, but we do want to start planting out some of these plants around February, March, so we definitely need to have some kind of water on the land to enable us to move the plants. We bought 10 fruit trees from Biedronka 2 years ago, one of which is this lovely cherry tree. It hasn't given us any fruit yet and probably won't until it's transported to our land, but it is lovely to look at for now. It sits very close to this apple tree, which has now grown even taller than me. This apple tree actually managed to grow 2 apples, but they fell off before they ripened, so I hope next year will be more successful. Like I mentioned in my previous video, we took a lot of oak seeds from the venue where we got married and we planted quite a few of them in our garden in pots, and actually most of them sprouted, which is really nice. It means that we have a bunch of like 1-year-old oak trees. My husband is going to be taking them to the land today. I'm staying in Warsaw today because I have a few errands to run, but I hope that most of them will survive. I know oak trees take a really long time to grow, but it's a really romantic idea, the thought that the seeds from our wedding will live on our land. These maples were also bought from Biedronka a couple years ago, and I can confidently say they're probably our favourite trees so far. They just look even more gorgeous in autumn. This Heterohelix is actually part of the apartment. It doesn't belong to us, but we've definitely nurtured it, looked after it, and it's grown really tall, like all the way up to the top there. And we actually took some cuttings for ourselves and have planted them into this small pot down here, and we hope that when we go to the land next year we'll be able to put them in the ground and it will grow. Those hydrangeas don't belong to us, but these lovely peach trees do, which we also picked up in Biedronka. It's a funny story with this peach tree because most of the trees that you buy from the shops, especially shops like Biedronka, are grafted, and actually the grafted part of the tree died, but then a new sprout came out and we weren't sure whether it was coming from the grafted part or the rootstock of the tree. So this is kind of like an experiment for us. We're going to see what it's going to produce. It's really bendy and very weirdly shaped, so I don't have high hopes for it, but we have so much land that it doesn't hurt to keep it. This rosemary has really surprised me. Usually when you buy herbs from the supermarket, they don't last a long time, but we planted this one outside straight away, pretty much days after we bought it, and it still smells so good. So our hope is that it's going to last over the winter. We might transfer it to a different place in the garden because it's quite exposed here right now, and I'd really love it to survive so that we can plant it out in the garden on our land next spring. We have Śliwka, Gruszka, Morella, 4 different types of Malina, Agrest, Jezzyny, and probably something else that I forgot to mention. Spring cannot come fast enough. The fruit trees are reaching for the sun because of the lack of light, but for now, as we go into winter, they should survive. And these are just the trees that we have in this garden. We actually have a second garden in the back just off of our bedroom that also has some trees in it, fruit trees that we got from Biedronka that we also hope to take with us. So this is it. This is our garden here in Warsaw, our 2 small Warsaw gardens. I think we've been really lucky to have a garden of this size right in the middle of the city centre, where we've been able to grow our own food and grow trees and sort of get a head start on our land project next year. This garden has definitely been a huge help in motivating us and pushing us to buy our own land, and that's something else that I'd like to share with you. What are our plans for the next 3, 4, 5 years on the land, what we intend to do with such a huge space, and how we even bought it in the first place. So stay tuned.